Hey everyone, how you doing? It is Thursday, and I'm working here in the studio today. I hope you're enjoying whatever you're up to today. If you'd like to, join me for another drawing lesson. So like we did like we did with Bluey last week, what I want to do is I want to draw a character, like copy a character that I've never drawn before. Okay, and my daughter Bonnie, she requested Starfire from Teen Titans Go. So we are going to draw Starfire. Now I have never drawn Starfire before, okay? But the point is, I learnt to draw as a kid by copying my favorite characters, okay? And there's a way to do that. So what I want to do is show you how I'm going to work out how to draw Starfire. I'm going to try and draw Starfire here, copying the Starfire that I printed out off the internet here. Okay, so and then you can copy along, you can draw Starfire, or you can use these kind of techniques to work out how to copy your favorite character and do your own drawings. All right, here we go. Okay, so the way that I would start here is actually to get this movement line here, because she is not totally straight. And that curve there is actually going to be quite important. So let's see if we can get kind of that curve happening in kind of lightly there like that. Okay, cool. Now her head, like let's just get proportions, right? Her head is actually about a third of her body. So that means we're kind of there. So her head is going to be in this space, which might feel wrong, but it's actually going to put everything in the right spot for us. And as we've talked about before, you want to try and get everything in the right spot if you can. That's going to be the biggest thing that helps us to make sure our character looks like our character. Okay, so now she is not facing forwards, so that means her head is turned this way. So to kind of get her head looking three-dimensional, I'm just going to pretend it's like a 3D shape here. It's kind of angled back a little bit and down that way, and then over this way like this, because it's kind of actually tilted up a little bit, and that's going to help me to work out where to put everything. Okay, so then her chin would be there. So then I think her nose is probably around the center here, somewhere like this. Mouth, which means we've got one eye coming in here like this, and the other eye is over here kind of like this. She's a series of really interesting shapes actually. Okay, so let's do her fringe up there is going to kind of sit one side there. It's all coming off that center line, see? And then this one curls around here like this. It's going to give us kind of that shape there. The head really does come out there, kind of like that, and back in there. And then this line, it's going to come down here like that. That's going to come out the back, and then we'll work the rest of that out in a minute, but there's the hair. Okay, so now her neck is going to come down here, that line, and then again let's just try and block in these shapes. So actually her body kind of only comes, like the bottom of her skirt there is actually about there, and she's got really long legs. So, and then you want to kind of get these curves right for her hips. And then this is where I see our curve is helping us, our curved line, because we can kind of follow that. So now this one comes down out here, and this one follows that line originally and then flicks out. Just kind of cut these pants or boots really that fan out, doesn't she? And then they'll fit somewhere down like that. And then her arms, so she's got this kind of thing going on here, this neck thing. And then her arms will come out off that and hook back in. And off here. And again, hooking back in. There like that somehow. This hair flips all the way around and comes out down about there. That is going to kind of sit here, and then the ear comes off the bottom of there, see? She's got quite complicated shapes. The general movement of the hair here flicks around. And we'll kind of meet around there, which means we've got our matching piece of hair there. All right, so that kind of gives us all of our things in position. And then that there, and there, and the smile. Okay, so now we get our texture. And with the texture, it's often kind of helpful. I often start with the eyes, but it is kind of helpful to think about working from the foreground to the background. So what sits in front versus what sits behind. And you want to draw the things that are in front first so that you can get your lines for the things behind going around behind. We'll colour that in a minute. Let's see if we can get that line at the bottom of her eye working quite well. And then what we've got is the pupil with that little white reflection bit coming out of it. Well, let's colour in the pupil right now so we get that right. And then we'll just kind of put the other colour in lightly, because you'll notice there's not actually a line here. There's just the change of colour. But obviously at the moment we're just working with our black marker. Actually, let's colour in those eyelashes so that we make sure they're working. Okay, now let's go for this one too. And you're looking at everything in terms of shapes. So the beauty of doing it in kind of two stages like this is you start by looking at the whole character and the whole set of shapes. But then once you've done that and you feel like you've probably got most of the bits in the right spot, then you can kind of zero in on each individual little bit that you're drawing and just focus in on the shapes of those bits. Okay, same thing. Let's see if we can get this line here kind of flicking out. It's going to come down there, and then we've got our pupil, our reflection. Okay, our little nose. Okay, so these are some of our foreground bits, which is good. And then her hair is kind of quite angular, which I think works really well. It's quite cool. Like everything's kind of a bit pointy and almost boxy. Not really seeing lots of individual hairs, which obviously is a different way of drawing hair that you can do. But in this style, it's kind of quite angular blocks, which I actually quite like. I think it looks really cool. That might be a bit flat, but that's all right. As I said, I've never done this before, never drawn Starfire before, so, you know, it's my first time, just like it might be your first time. So don't be too hard on yourself. It doesn't matter if it's not exactly perfect. You're just doing the best that you can. And if you like this character, then you might try drawing her again and again in all sorts of different positions. And you'll really get to know her. You'll get to know how the artist has created her to look. Now this, see how this line goes down behind there? So I'm going to bring that over a little bit from what I had before. It comes out here and then kind of zooms in and back out. Up and around. Down, up, and back in, and up, and then the ear tucks in behind it. I think I've made her ear and my ruff a little bit big, so I'm just going to bring it in a little bit smaller here. Okay. Okay, that's great. Let's go to her neck. I'm not going to do that one yet because it pops in behind her body. So her neck probably needs to be a little bit longer and thinner than what I drew it in my rough. So I can kind of correct that as I go. Then we've got this shape here. Just going to scoot down to here. Again, start with shapes where you can, that one there, and then it scoots back up over there and up. So I know already that my proportions are a little bit wrong. That's a bit taller, but that's okay. I don't think it's going to matter too much, and to be honest, there's not too much I can do about it at this point. It's much better that perhaps looks a little bit more squashed than it really is. It's better to have that than to end up, say, having to give her really short legs or something like that. It's going to be the arm coming off there, but I'll leave the rest of the arm for the moment and just try and get this body shape in. And there's her kind of crop top in behind there. Belt. Lots of little shapes and details here, and then this line continues down here, and I'm going to make that a little bit longer than the shape that I had. That's the other benefit, obviously, of working in these kind of two layers is you can correct as you go. Now, I've done my bottom layer in kind of a pen, right, in one of these. But a much better idea would be to do it in pencil, because then once you go over it with your texter, like I'm doing now, once the text is all done and the text is dry, you can obviously go back in with an eraser and rub out all of your pencil lines underneath. It's like you know how in maths mathematics you have to show you're working. Well, this is kind of like this. The pencil is your working, right? But actually in drawing you don't have to show you're working, and so you can take your working away afterwards. There we go. Light that back up. There we go. Okay. See, her belt could probably have been a bit bigger there, but that's all right. None of that is going to matter too much in terms of it feeling like the character is working. The important things for your likeness are things like the eyes and the proportions. And then when you get into more of the kind of details, it's not quite as crucial to get everything exactly right. Plus, this is my first time, so I'm going to do it again another time, and I might remember that. I might remember, you know what, last time I drew this, the belt was kind of a little bit small. So next time, I'm going to try and get my belt a little larger. Okay, so now there we go. There's our foreground all kind of done, which means now we can bring in this one back here. One kind of comes down there. This one comes out here, back in and down. And then we can do our hairline. So it pops in there like that. That keeps going like it's kind of a straight line, comes out to about there. Then scoots down here and around. In and kicks back out. Again. There, and then bring this one down and around here like this, and then bring it right in, because it's going to connect in over there. And there we have it. There is Starfire. So there's Starfire. Now when I look at my drawing, I can see a handful of things that I would do differently next time. But that's fine. That's okay. That's how we learn. And so, so I hope you have fun copying your favorite character. You can do Starfire with me like we just did, or you can choose another character. And I think we'll keep doing this for a little while. So if you've got characters that you would like me to do, flick me an email at matt.stanton@gmail.com, and we'll see if we can do some more. All right, cool. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.